Hey there, welcome back. I'm Flat Rate Mechanic, and today we're diving into a common issue that many Nissan Versa owners face, the poor P0705 code. If you've seen that light pop on and thought you'd need to replace the transmission range sensor, hold on just a second. This code is actually not what you might think. Let's unpack it together. Now, I'm currently working on a 2016 Nissan Versa that needs to pass smog, and guess what? The check engine light is on with that dreaded P0705 code for transmission range sensor performance. You'd think that means the sensor itself is bad, right? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Instead of diving straight into replacing parts, I found a service bulletin that points to a different culprit entirely. So what's actually causing this code? Surprisingly, it could be your reverse lights, or get this, water getting into your rear taillight assemblies. Sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? But let me explain why this is a game changer for your wallet. First, let's understand the P0705 code a bit more. This code indicates a problem with your transmission range sensor circuit, also known as the auto inhibitor switch or neutral safety switch. This sensor essentially tells your car's computer what gear you're in: park, reverse, neutral, drive, all that fun stuff. Now, when most folks see this code, they jump straight to replacing the transmission range sensor. But that can cost you anywhere from $50 to $120 for the part alone, plus another $100 to $150 in labor if you take it to a shop. That's a hefty bill, and honestly, it's often unnecessary. One of the biggest mistakes people make is not checking the reverse lights first. Trust me, this simple step can save you a ton of money. Nissan has actually released Service Bulletin, NTB 15082, confirming that for Versa models from 2012 to 2019, the P0705 code is frequently due to failed reverse light bulbs or moisture in the taillight assemblies. So, what's happening back there? Behind your taillight assembly, there's a small circuit board integrated into the lens. When water leaks in, it can corrode that board. That's when your car thinks there's a problem with the transmission range sensor and throws the code. The great news? Checking this is super easy. First, test your reverse lights. Put your car in reverse and see if they light up. If they don't, you're likely onto the problem already. Now let's talk moisture. Open your trunk and pull out those taillight assemblies. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it. Look for any signs of water damage, corrosion, or condensation. If you spot any, you've likely found your issue without needing to take anything else apart. Alright, now let's get into removing that taillight assembly. It's way easier than you might think, and should take you about 30 minutes to an hour, even if you take your time. Just pop open your trunk and you'll see the back of the taillight assemblies. You're looking for two 10mm bolts, one at the top and one at the bottom. There's also a little clip to watch out for, but it's straightforward. Before you dive in, make sure to disconnect your battery. I know it's tempting to skip that step, but trust me, it takes just a second and saves you from any electrical mishaps. Once those bolts are out, you can gently wiggle the assembly free. And what you'll see back there is that circuit board we mentioned earlier. This is the part that can cause all the issues when it gets wet. Here's the kicker. You can get both taillight assemblies online for about $106 for the pair. That's way less than dealer prices, which can run you $150 to $250. You get the complete assembly with the circuit board, bulbs, everything included. It's like a DIY dream come true. Installation is just reversing the removal process. Line up the new assembly, thread those bolts back in, and make sure everything is snug. Just don't over-tighten as you're dealing with plastic here. When you push that assembly back into place, ensure all electrical connectors are seated properly. The last thing you want is to finish up and find your lights aren't working because a connector wasn't clicked in all the way. Now, you've got those new assemblies installed. Time to reconnect the battery, fire up the car, and check those reverse lights again. They should be shining bright. Next, grab your OBD2 scanner and clear that P0705 code. Here's a tip. Just because the code clears doesn't mean you're in the clear. Take the car for a drive, cycle through all the gears a few times, and make sure that code doesn't come back. What if you do all this and the code returns? You might need to check that wiring harness to the taillights. Sometimes those wires can corrode or get damaged. If that checks out and you're still having issues, then you might have to look at the transmission range sensor itself. But in my experience, after 26 years as an ASE master technician, it's almost always those taillight assemblies causing the trouble. So to wrap things up, if you see that P0705 code on your Nissan Versa, remember, it could be a simple fix without the need for costly repairs. Just check those reverse lights and taillight assemblies first before replacing any sensors. Thanks for tuning in today. Have you faced this issue with your car? What tips do you have for DIY repairs? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, drive safe, and I'll catch you in the next episode.